Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow of Royal Society of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. I'm your host. Tonight we're going to talk about More Homes Built Act in Ontario. How is impacting the city? Is he helping to achieve affordability in the province of Ontario because the government of Ontario wants to build 1.5 million houses in next 10 years. There is an action and reaction because this law will create opportunity for the builders to build more homes. It streamlines the approval process and may give some exemptions. We explore the area. However, it will also affect the taxing revenue for the cities. So since I am from the city of Mississauga, I have saw a video where Bonnie Crombie, the mayor of Mississauga, was expressing her views. There are ample concern about this bill, and we're going to talk about a few of them and see how it's going to help us. So one concern is Bill 23 could result in loss of almost $1 billion to the city. Is that true? $1 billion for the city is a lot of money. And our city of Mississauga is growing and is almost 45 plus years. And they have a deficit of infrastructure, repair, they need money. And we do not know how much support they're getting from the city. So how much portion of that estimated $1 billion will affect city of Mississauga, Brampton, or Caledon, because this is a field region. And there are more other regions. So this is one of the concerns they have. We need to find out the question. If any member of provincial parliament watching us, please give us a call and talk to us. We will schedule a meeting specially for this purpose. So 647-484-0018. The other thing is, does Bill 23 guarantee that a new, more affordable housing will be built in Ontario? How they spend, how they want that this bill will create that 1.5 million houses, and that creates affordability. Affordability has to do with economics. It has to do with the job, as has to do with the manufacturing and many other elements, economic elements, which are engine. So how much? Yes, increased work in a construction industry will definitely create more opportunity or employment for the laborers and also for the material supplier or the manufacturer. But how much it creates affordability that affects the buyer home ability to buy a home. Cost of construction has gone up 35 to 40% due to pandemic. Before it was a shortage of material, and you remember energy, food prices, everything went up. And how you see that the cost of those materials gone up. Now they're going to come down based on building a 1.5 million house in 10 years, or reducing approximately $1 billion from city municipalities, and how the municipality will affect. So these are the answers that we expect from Ministry of Housing. We're going to be talking to them to see if they can help us to explain that. How is going to help improve the affordability for the home ownership? Now, is Bill 23 mean less funding to the build affordable housing? So who is really benefiting from this act? Is this the more profitability going to the builder? If the city is losing revenue, who's going to pay for it? They're going to have, and there is a impression now that they're going to be about 8 to 10% increase in property taxes. That's going to affect buyers. And there is an example given by Mississauga is that if you have a house that's a 750,000, they're going to increase approximately $500. If the value of the house is higher, it may go even higher, 8 to 10%. That means a significant amount of money to be paid by the property owners. Are you discouraging the owner to buy it, or you are creating affordability? So there is a conflict here. How are we going to go there? Now, there also Bill 23 talks about means less parkland and developer choose where parks go. Okay, there is an issue because when you are buying a new building, building a new complex, subdivision, or house, you will also pay for the parkland because you're not able to contribute as a parkland because already been built there. So there is a contribution, and you will lose that, or unless there are some exceptions. So we need a little bit of clarity on that. How is going to affect the revenue of the city? Because if the builder are to be exempt, or they can go not to do it, not to pay for that, but there is a revenue for the city. So when you submit an application to the city, apart from the application fees, site plan approval, blah blah blah, there is a development fees. So development fees has already increased. If you are building a house in Mississauga, it may be now, could be around 150 to 165 per house that you built. And then you also have to pay the parkland contribution. It could be 5% of the appraised value of the house. And then by accumulating this together, it becomes really expensive. So if this revenue is taken away from the builder, from the cities, obviously it's going to have some impact. Okay. Now, also Bill 23, it talks about sacrificed environmental heritage and greenbelt lands. The law, the act that was enacted by the promise of 28th of November, Bill 23, it gives some exceptions to the environment, heritage, or green belt area which has been preserved in the past. Now they're loosening up because there is a demand for it. So Canada is blessed with a big land, and obviously there will be a lot of opportunity to grow the city. I always suggested to the politician that if they can build more houses by 401 and maybe have a fast track train there, and people can come and go all the way to London and Windsor, going this way. And fast train will help and instead of spending too much money on widening the road that we have at 401, is getting congested. In the morning, it's so difficult to get into Toronto and come back. So they need to create those smaller cities, grow them, and you send more immigrants, because there are almost 500,000 immigrants are coming in 2023. We already have a shortage. It's a good effort. I always appreciate the effort of the government, how they're going to increase the housing affordability also. But really, what are the details? Devil is in the details. How they're going to do that? Are they going to sacrifice other services, city services, to cover the expense to create affordability? And how they're going to create this affordability, because we haven't seen any logic behind it, and who's going to be profiting it from it. So this is why it's very important for how it's going to work, and also how the development fee really works in the city. So development charges and parkland in cash in lieu of has been a critical tool to offset the cost of the growth. So city is growing, or they're doing infrastructure improvement because city is getting old. So they get these development charges and also the parkland cash in lieu of. So it support the operation. Now they're going to be depriving. How much this law is going to impact that, we like to hear from our mayors and other professional or government of Ontario to explain to the public. Now, province has set a strict rules of growth charges, and critics must follow them. So they are going to put more growth charges, and the city has to follow them. What does this really mean? What are the growth charges? Are you talking about increasing our property taxes? If people are not able to support the existing mortgages because of interest rate federal government, and as you can see now, prime rate is 6.45. In January, February, I was paying 2.45. So 4% has increased on 1 year. So my payment has tripled because of this interest rate. Now it's going to affect many people, and they're going to have a difficulty to maintain the house. I'm afraid with this new charges coming, cost of new charges will increase. Therefore, how is it going to affect and benefit the new home ownership or affordability? Somebody has to explain that when you're making this decision closed door without discussing with people how they're going to do that. We need to know. Okay, now developers still earn a profit with or without the growth charge. You know, builders have been making lots of money. They acquired the land 5-10 years ago. So their property has doubled. Land value has doubled. Obviously, the development fees are passed on to them through the, when they get the building permit, they make the profit. Prices has gone up 18.2% last year. So they are profiting it. Idea is they're not willing to give up the profitability ratio. They want to make more money and cause this crisis, which are really not in the best interest of consumers. Idea again is that in order for them to get the licenses to build homes, there should be more strict rules in terms of affordability for the home. So they're building houses where people can afford. And what steps they have taken, what type of construction, what type of housing, is it a townhome or is it a condo apartment or detached home or semi or freehold townhome? What type of construction they're going to do in order to create affordability? Are the government of Ontario subsidizing the builders to increase their profitability? So these are lots of questions we have to ask. And each city will need to have reserve funds to deal with the emergencies, contingency funds. So if they're going to deplete those revenue by imposing a growth tax or growth charges, we don't know how much. They are talking about 8 to 10%. So if my assessed value is $1 million, that means I will be paying $1,000 more in addition to what I'm paying right now. So this is the problem. And how they're going to come up with this revenue and balance it. All the politicians, city, council, and mayor, and also the province have to sit down and talk the formula, which will work not only for the consumer, but also for the builders. So we are under the impression that the process, centralized process with the planning division and approval of building charges, that working with this promise will help to expedite the approval process, because this has been a bottleneck to get approval to proceed to build more houses. This was the complaint about, we heard from the builders, oh, it's taking very long to get approval. So the government of Ontario has done a lot of changes to the Planning Act to allow lots of flexibility and cut down a lot of unnecessary public complaint, a petition, or complaint protocol. So they've done that already enough. Now is to taking away the revenue from the city going to be a big problem. We were even thinking about it. The city, lots of big city mayors are going to the Delhi government to seek financing power similar to what Toronto has, so they can charge more land transfer tax or other taxes. It appears that the Ontario government is not doing that. They're not budging it, but somehow, how they're going to balance their budget, which is required under the Municipal Act, and also how they deal with infrastructure. Are you increasing their source of revenue is a property tax. And unless you're going to give special power to the city, they're going to be asking us, the citizen, to pay for more because we are the owner of our home. So then, where is the affordability? Common sense is that you increase production, you allow builder, and you mandate these builders that since you have the land, you got the approval, proceed with a deadline and somebody monitoring them to make sure work is done and the properties are sold. But are they really looking into affordability? Because that is the key, how they determine the C. Now, the reserve fund under the city infrastructure and permitted under the Planning Act, because that's what the reserve funds are for contingency. If you're going to affect the ability of the city to raise funds, they're going to be a challenge for everyone. So we want to make sure the government of Ontario is listening to the public and paying attention to the cities, because there is no way if you're going to charge additional growth charges, which will be given back to the current homeowners and is somehow is going to create affordability. Please help us. So I will be reaching out to the Minister of Housing in Ontario and speak to him about this. We need a more clarification, and also capping parkland fee. This is another concern, is that a capping parkland fee will see about 80% less parkland fee in Mississauga over 10 years. So they are saying is 80% less parkland fee. So if they are generating income through parkland revenue, they're going to have up to 10 years, going to be 80% less. So it's really affecting the city of Mississauga, and then we have to talk about it, how we're going to deal with it, because this is very, very important for us to deal with it. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back, we'll talk more about it. Good evening, and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow Royal Institute of Canada and broker of record for City Pro Realty Brokerage and your host. We're talking about more homes Built Faster Act of Ontario, which is Bill 23. There's a lot of apprehension from the city mayors that is going to affect the quality of life of the taxpayer who currently own the property. So this is very important now to get the clarification from the Minister of Housing in Ontario, see how it's affecting it. As it is organized real estate, I'm sure Ontario Real Estate Association also will be talking to the minister to find out more details about it. How is really going to create affordability? If you are dumping more growth charges to the city, and city is going to charge to the homeowners, obviously we are carrying the burden of that. So what is the creativity behind building 1.5 million houses in 10 years? How the revenue is generated? This has always been a concern to me, is the politician make decision, they increase our taxes without providing any logical explanation how their strategy or a law they created will really improve the quality of citizen. If the affordability is a big issue, how are you going to create that? Please explain to us how are you going to create affordability. Is this going to increase the income of the home buyers under the current criteria or the OFSI rule to qualify? Majority of them don't qualify because everybody, mostly youth, are now staying with their parents rather than going out. Renting a one bedroom or two bedroom is almost $3,000 in downtown Toronto. A small home with 2 or 3 bedroom with a garage, over $3,000 right here in Mississauga. So either they're buying, they can't afford it, to rent it, or to buy it, where they're going to go. So what steps, how they are mandating the builders to build housing that are guaranteed affordable. Cost of construction, material cost has gone up 35 to 40%. Labor cost has gone up. You have seen ups and downs on energy prices, food prices, clothing, everything A to Z has increased. Some are increased double. How you are controlling this? This is also a question to our federal government. You have given billions of dollars to people to support us, and now we are over $1 trillion debt. Every children and grandchildren of ours have a liability now. How are you going to pay for that? What was the return on investment? Inflation? No. We can do better than that. Idea is to create investment in an area in partnership with the private sector to increase the manufacturing, service industry, technology industry, pharmaceuticals, health. We have talented people all over the world who have came and chosen Canada to live and work here. They love Canada. So we can use that talent that we have, very diverse talent across Canada, to market and bring more investment into it. Now, federal government Ontario have put a 2-year ban on buying new homes in Canada. How is going to help? Foreign investors bring a lot of business into our industry. Now, majority of my clients, I'm a certified international property specialist, member of NAR. All my global network now, everybody is investing in the United States or other part of the world. We're losing it. So we could have done something better to create more housing, working federal, provincial, and city together. Can they not sit on one table and talk about policy to optimize approval process and control any unnecessary things that affects building more homes? Right now, because of infrastructure investment in transit, mostly building will be high-rise, vertical, and to also provide density so mayor can and the city can invest on more transit. This all has to do with where the people want to live. We have 500,000 immigration coming in 2023. Where they're going to be housed? How is going to supplement and help the Ontario government to build 1.5 million houses? And what type of houses? Where are they building? Where are the more populations are? How they can afford it? If you go buy land in Toronto versus Mississauga, it's expensive. You have to go away from the big cities to invest in houses. I suggested before, by 401, going all the way to London, to Windsor, whatever. That road, if you have a fast train, people can travel back and forth, and you can have small cities around it. Those are the ones where people are going to move. In city, you cannot charge them too much money because affordability is issue. You will put lots of people out of homes, and already mortgage is impacting already. We have a disaster going on right now. Lots of people are not qualifying for the mortgage. They can't afford the highest interest rate. So I am not sure where this affordability is coming. Our sale has gone down last November to this 49%. I shared the report with last episode, last Thursday, about the statistic, what happened now. And you can see that detached home, semi, townhome, and condo, sales are down in 2 digit and prices are down. And this is how I have mentioned to you before, from all type of houses in trap reports, MLS system, from November 1st to 13th, 11.3% down detached home, average price. Now, and change in price also for semi-detached, 13.9%, townhome, minus 6.4%, and condo, minus 0.9%. So prices are going down, but sale is going down. Sale has gone for detached home, minus 46.6%, semi, 48.7%, and townhome, 46.4%, and condo, 54.9%. Sales are going down, and you can see that it's going to affect you. Now, Halton region, we have a city average composite type minus 5.49 all, and you have a single detached home minus 7.73 in Halton. Then you have a semi-detached minus 12.63, and you have a townhome minus 7.67 across Halton. Peel region minus 5.08%. Then you have a semi-detached minus 7.13. And then you have a single family detached minus 7.02, and townhome 0.43, and apartment was 6.66, so it was showing positive. And City of Toronto, all type deposit minus 4.25, but we're looking at single home minus 7.94, and obviously single family detached minus 7.34, and townhome was 1.78. There was an increase there. So you can see that in all regions are not showing any positive result. So where is the affordability issue? The issue come back to the bill is we like to know what was thought behind it, how to increase affordability by investing and building 1.5 million house in 10 years. Who is paying for it? Who is benefiting from this? If you are transferring additional growth charges to the current homeowner, and it's going to affect our pocket. So what was the so mention about what was the creativity? What was the report? How could you have done it financially without charging us additional money? And also taking away some revenue from city. And this is going to be a big problem. Obviously, I'm expecting them in January, starting from January, new notices will be coming. MPAC will be doing the more assessment or reassess all the value of the property, and then we will be asked to pay more, 8 to 10% of the assessed value by the MPAC. You are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the world. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Bye for now.